This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Saudi Arabia. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, most confident picks, favorite underdogs, Degen Props of the night, and then we're going to finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. Last card, UFC 311, Lock City Parlay came to fruition. Now, it was a late notice adjustment with the main event getting canceled and changed with Makhachev fighting Moicano. Makhachev was a part of the Lock City Parlay heading into the Sarukian fight. I kept him on the Lock City Parlay, and also it was Bernardo Sopai. They worked well together, both got W's, and the Lock City Parlay gets us going with a nice streak for 2025. This week's lock, though, it's not going to be a Lock City Parlay. I'll still do a Lock City Parlay, but this week is a straight money line lock of the week, and it's a fighter that I'm very excited about and somebody I think's underrated. So without further ado, the lock of the week.
Mike Beast Boy Davis.
Mike Davis, lock of the week for UFC Saudi Arabia. At minus 140, it's a relatively good line, and I think Faraz Ziam has a bit of false hype right now. He beat Matt Frivola, but Frivola's incredibly flawed. He's incredibly defensively inept. You look at him losing fights by knockout before that matchup against Ziam. Terrence McKinney put him out with one punch. Yeah, it was a few years before, but I think it's still valid to show how vulnerable Frivola can be in striking sequences with no defensive ability. Now I have Mike Davis opposite of Ziam. This is a massive level jump. Mike Davis is crafty in all areas of the game. He has power. He has good striking, I would say. And on top of that, very strong grappling base, good control, physically extremely fit, and a guy that can work hard for 3 rounds. I can see him bodying Faraz Ziam as they tie up, but I also feel as though Davis's hands could work well in this fight too. I have a hard time envisioning Faraz Ziam keeping Davis off of him for 3 rounds. Ziam is not a power striker. He has good, clean striking technique, and he found the perfect knee last fight against Frivola. But the Claudio Puelles fight was weird. He was in some awkward grappling entanglements. He ends up winning the fight on a split decision. But I feel as though we're forgetting about bad performances of the past for Ziam. And I get it, he's young, but he's never fought someone as crafty, at least as of recent, as Mike Davis is. I still think of Ziam as the guy getting wrecked in 1 round by Terrence McKinney. Davis has not been as active as most of us would have liked. 5 UFC fights. His debut in the UFC long time ago, nearly 6 years ago, it was a loss to Gilbert Burns. Since then, he's 4-0. He is coming off of a bicep injury, but I think he's going to come back looking just as good, if not better than before, because now in his, early 30s, this is truly the Mike Davis prime, and I see him at least getting a fight in the top 15. It would be a massive letdown if Davis never gets to fight somebody in that top 15 because of injuries holding his career back. The skill set that he brings is high level. The craftiness is there. The physicality is there. And I think in this matchup here, he's got a lot of advantages over Faraz Ziam. Ziam's got the recent hype, and he seems to be a dog that maybe people are loving to attack. He's a popular pick amongst the community. But I think the right call is Mike Davis as an ever so slight favorite at minus 140. He caught my eye from the jump. I had an inkling that I was going to be locking Mike Davis as soon as I did predictions for this card, but I waited until today to drop the magic, and I think it's a very on-point lock. I see him with a big grappling advantage. I see him with a power striking advantage and just pure physical strength. If him and Ziam are tied up, it's Davis on top controlling, and I think Davis could be live for a submission. But he is a guy that's comfortable to cruise to a decision as well. So I'm saying Davis to win decision or submission is the most likely outcome, but the money line is touchable, so you don't have to chase the sub prop either. Looking towards the prop betting, though, I'll look at it. Davis by sub at plus 400. Davis by decision at plus 160. There is a true possibility of Davis locking up a submission, but very likely that he can control from top position, do some work with ground and pound, even have moments in striking. I feel like Mike Davis is going to get a nice W in this matchup against Faraz. He was actually supposed to fight this summer against Drew Dober, and I feel like that was the fight that was going to burst Mike Davis onto the scene. Now he gets Ziam, and Ziam, talented prospect right now. Like I said, the win over Frivola, he's got some hype. He's a good French kickboxer, but the Frenchman ain't taking out the All-American. I'm going Mike Davis for the W. He's winning this fight. I think he's live to win by submission too, but the money line, the A side at -140. That's the lock down the center. Straight money line savagery. Mike Davis for the W. Hey, savage mode, USA up in here. Let's go. Let's jump to the next section because I want to talk most confident picks. We got to run through with the most confident picks. What am I thinking here? All right. I'm going to bring them up and we'll go one by one. And I'm going to do a special 5th edition at the end because I'm seeing a -500 line and that infuriates me a little bit. But let's talk about Naimov first. Muhammad Naimov should be levels above Khan Ofli. Khan Ofli is a good wrestler, good-ish, good at the Ultimate Fighter level, but the Ultimate Fighter has consistently proven to be a show that many guys are not good. You know what I'm saying? There are not many promising guys that come off the show that don't win it. There's been in the past. I'm not talking about the old era. The old era is different. I'm talking about recently. Khan Ofli with wins there, but then he got wrecked in his debut with Myron Santos and showed no defensive striking knowledge. He doesn't have head movement. All he can do is kind of wrestle. Naimov wrestles good. Naimov is a dangerous striker. Naimov's crafty and well-rounded, and he's got the UFC experience edge on his side. 3-1 in the UFC. He lost to Felipe Lima, but Felipe Lima is a terrifying prospect. Khan Ofli's not that guy. He's not that guy. Khan Ofli's not that guy. He's a decent enough pressure wrestler, but he's 31 and he's got short arms. 66-inch reach, only 5'7", 2 inches shorter than Naimov. Lacking reach against Naimov by 4 inches. A lot of the time, Naimov's fighting guys a bit bigger. I mean, if you look, that debut in the UFC on short notice, he slept Jamie Malarkey up in weight. I think Muhammad Naimov's on his way to a clean win. I lean towards decision. Naimov landed more significant shots, probably winning the wrestling exchanges and doing more damage to Ofli. I don't think Ofli is chinny per se. Myron Santos just caught him with a terrifying counterstrike and he got flatlined. A vicious KO loss. He's definitely not beating Naimov because this is a step up in competition too for Ofli. And yo, we're in Saudi Arabia. Naimov's supposed to win the fight. Trust. Naimov for the W. Come on. What are we doing? Odds for the fight, -330. Is there anything better? Is it 330 everywhere? We need to find something better. Nah, -330 for the most part. I mean, you might find him a little lower, but he's a big favorite. Fat favorite Naimov, +270 for Ofli. He's a huge underdog. He ain't going to win. Over is likely. -165 for over. I just feel like Naimov on the cards has a ring to it. Especially in the UFC, we've seen him go distance. I mean, granted, he does have finishes, but that Eric Silva one was an injury, and then he slept Malarkey. So he's got a bit of stinging pop. But I feel like decision makes sense. Naimov on the cards makes sense to me. Naimov to win via decision is currently sitting at the line of +120. Not great, but way better than -330. Ultimately, Naimov, you'll see his name again. The money line is parlayable, and we'll talk about it at the end. Let's keep running through the most confident picks. Next up, I'm going to King of the Blobs, Shamil Gaziev. I have to. I can see a comment right now saying, bro, stop with the heavyweights, the confident calls. He's a fat heavyweight. Enough of this shit. Listen to me. I'm popping this in real quick. Listen to me. Thomas Peter Griffin Petersen is not beating Lord Gaziev, okay? It's just not going to happen. Gaziev's hand speed, better. Gaziev's striking, better. Wrestling defensively, Petersen could hold up, and normally Gaziev has a decent wrestling edge. And if he's unable to get the takedown, it could cause for some panic. But I don't think it will, because I think Gaziev is a lot cleaner on the feet. If he loses to Petersen, man, oh my gosh. Gaziev will have the biggest bust of the year, I think. Like, that's the biggest fall from grace, because on paper, this looks like a massive mismatch. Petersen's an okay wrestler with mess striking. I mean, he beat Mo Usman, but Gaziev is better than that level of fighter. Petersen got boxed up by Jamal Pogues, and I don't rate Jamal Pogues very high. I think Shamil Gaziev is taking home a win. Now, the issue is, how does he get it done? He looked like a savage against Boudet, blitzing him early. It's like there's moments where Gaziev shows that true top 12 skill set. And then there's other moments where it's like, he beat Dontel Mays by a decision. I think he can beat Thomas Petersen by a decision. Over 1.5 is -145. Petersen is not a guy that's been put away early. If you look at his pro career, he's only been stopped against Waldo Cortez Acosta, and that was in the 3rd round. And whereas Waldo's a good boxer, but he had a massive wrestling edge in that fight. Very unlikely that Petersen can take down and control Gaziev in this one. So I think it's a lot of striking. I think Gaziev's better. Possibility of a later stage KO, TKO type scenario where the damage is accumulated over the course of the fight. But Gaziev to win is the money call. Yes, he's a wide favorite. Another -330. It becomes a parlay piece. It is what it is. Over 1.5 is probable at -145. What do we got? Gaziev on the cards. Only +260. Don't call my name. +120 for KO. Gaziev 3rd round KO +1,000. It is reaching degeneracy, man. The confidence is on the side of Gaziev outworking Petersen. He's live for a later stage finish or he's live for a decision. Petersen's pretty tough. Petersen physically not in great shape, but he has a decent gas tank. And I think he'll lose pretty clearly, but he might give like enough of an account that you'd say after the fight, yo, Petersen's pretty tough. Petersen didn't back down from a fight. He was just not nearly as good. Gaziev should be a lot better as far as true skill sets and fighting goes, and that's why he's a confident pick. Next up, yes, I'm doing it. Another heavyweight. Yep, Pavlovich. Yeah, I'm going another heavyweight to get it done. I think Pavlovich should sleep Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I've seen some Jairzinho Rozenstruik pickers. I lost my mind when I saw him. I said, really? Jairzinho Rozenstruik's got decent kickboxing, but he's not a good fighter from range. Oh, well, Volkov was able to pick apart Pavlovich. Listen, bro, I picked Volkov to beat Pavlovich. I was one of the rare ones that did such a thing, okay? And it's because Volkov had the height advantage of a substantial margin, and they had trained together in the past. Jairzinho Rozenstruik can outpoint a Tai Tuivasa to a decision. He can pick apart a Shamil Gaziev, but Sergey Pavlovich has the death punch, okay? He punches you in the chin, you go to bed. Sergey Pavlovich is a terrifying striker that for some reason by people that maybe are, just looking at fights odds-wise are getting swayed towards Rozenstruik, he's being written off. Pavlovich is getting doubted by a lot. I don't see that. I think Pavlovich wrecks Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Rozenstruik cannot avoid the knockout punch because they will be in boxing range and Pavlovich will punch him in the face and Rozenstruik will go down. Pavlovich has dangerous hands. Oh, he just blitzes people. He just runs at them. Bro, and it's effective. We saw Francis Ngannou windmill. Okay, windmill like a madman in Chin Rozenstruik. There will be punches to the head by Pavlovich landing and Rozenstruik will be separated from consciousness. I think so. -335 is an ugly line. Another one. Look at these. This is why I had to include a 5th one at the end. Man. -335. These -330s. I think I'm onto something, bro. The -330 Mac. Pavlovich KO. -250. Woo. Yes, Pavlovich by KO. -250. Great money. Great money, brother. Not a great line, but at the end of the day, this is about confidence. This is confident calls. At the end of the day, it's not just chasing lines. You understand me? So we're going Pavlovich to win. We're going Pavlovich by knockout. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is going to get chinned. I think it's probably in the 1st round. I'll go. What's 1st round, Pavlovich? KO round 1, Pavlovich. -105. Fabulous. Fabulous. I'm joking. It's not fabulous, but I mean, I guess it's better than -335, but I will rather just parlay Pavlovich at this point. So Pavlovich to take home a violent win. I'm feeling good about it. I think he's doing it. We're going Sergey Pavlovich. Next up, we got -500. Oh man. Terrence McKinney. Terrence. Yes, he's a confident pick because Damir Hadžović is just not good. He's incredibly slow twitch, right? He's not an explosive fighter at all. He fought what? 2.5 years ago? He fights rarely in the damn octagon. 4-5 in the UFC, not fighting consistently, 38 years of age. I get it. Terrence McKinney is so unreliable because you don't know what he's got after 5 minutes. I mean, I know what he normally has after 5 minutes. Nothing. But what if he runs through Hadžović in the 1st round? Would that blow anybody's mind? I don't think so. The way Hadžović wins is being a zombie and just getting his ass kicked and 10-8'd in round 1 and then beating McKinney in the second round. So for Hadžović, you survive the first round. I mean, you got a very live chance to pull through with the win. But I'm saying Terrence McKinney getting him. Hadžović hasn't fought in a while. He's going to look slow. He's normally not quick on the feet anyways. But add on top the ring rust, being 38, probably out of his prime. Bro, he could get blitzed early here by Terrence McKinney. McKinney to win. Yes, it's 5-1. Yes, the odds are terrible. I know. What do we got? Anything interesting here? McKinney by sub. Plus 100. Woo. McKinney KO plus 225. I feel like it's inside distance, but that's minus 350. But I do think McKinney's winning inside distance. It's probably in the first round. McKinney to win in round number 1. Minus 112 is the best I'm seeing, but I'm seeing at minus 140. McKinney's very live to win in the first round. It's plus 500 for a first round KO. I can see that. And then first round sub is only plus 190. Wow, the sub is the expectation here. I guess it's because Hadžović got subbed quick by Money Moicano, right? People have some doubts about his grappling. And Jacasey absolutely dominated him in every grappling sequence. And Jacasey lacks all killer instinct. McKinney's like the complete opposite. He's only killer instinct. It's kill or be killed. I think Terrence McKinney is going to finish Damir Hadžović probably in the first round. If he doesn't, then hit the panic button. But hopefully we see an evolved Terrence McKinney. He's training at Fusion Excel now. He's working with Mike Davis, who's the lock. And he's also working with Lucas Alexander, who's on the card, right? So I'm thinking he could look better at a new gym. And I think it could be, I don't know, maybe a more well-versed version of the Terrence McKinney that we know and love. Maybe he doesn't gas himself in round 1. And listen, he shocks us all with a second round KO. Maybe. He's going to win the fight. Hadžović should not be level. Stop it. Hadžović don't have a chance. Minus 500, McKinney inside distance. He's getting a W. He is beating Damir Hadžović. Come on. Now, because the last one of the most confident picks was minus 500, I said, man, oh, man. Am I really going to do him like that? No, I'm not going to do you guys like that. Chill. Hamdi Abdelwahab, minus 110. I think he's winning. I think Hamdi's winning. I get it. He's another, fat heavyweight. I know. How many fat heavyweights can I be confident on this card? Damn it. It is what it is. Hamdi Abdelwahab should beat Jamal Pogues, the former light heavyweight with a beer belly. Hamdi's a former Olympic wrestler. His debut he made against Dontel Mays on 12 notice, and he beat him by decision, and he outworked him, and he hurt him early in that fight. And he had to deal with adversity, too. Dontel's a big guy at 6'6". I think Hamdi wins, but the worry is all the steroid tests that he's failed. So if he's off the juice, I don't know for sure the level. But if I judge it on evidence I am presented with, he should be able to out-wrestle Jamal Pogues, beat up Jamal Pogues, hit him with some big punches, and possibly TKO him. I'm going to say Hamdi Abdelwahab takes home a W. I don't think he's selling in Saudi. I think he beats Jamal Pogues, and it's probably a TKO. It's minus 110 for the win. I think he can outwork Pogues. Hamdi, minus 110 for the win. KO, plus 500. I think Hamdi could wrestle him. I think Hamdi could control him on the ground. I think he can catch him with some big shots over the top. Pogues has decent straights, but still hittable with looping shots. And the fact that there's a big wrestling edge, I think Hamdi can win this fight, man. He should win this fight. Pogues does have to win over Petersen, so it's a worry. But at even money, I had to mention Hamdi. But of all the most confident picks, I'm calling this like high-risk territory. High-risk territory. High risk. But Hamdi Abdelwahab, don't let me down, my brother. Come on, Hamdi Dumpty. Come on, pull through. Let's jump to the next section, all right? Those are the most confident picks. There's good calls. I want to talk about some dogs, some underdogs. Let's talk some underdogs. Let's talk dogs. Okay, so here they are. All right. Imavov, main event pick for me, okay? Vinicius Oliveira, savage pick for me, my guy. Bueno Silva, nerve-wracking Brazilian pick, but she should have a jiu-jitsu edge. I like these 3 underdogs on the card. I also liked Lucas Alexander a lot, but the line is flipped, and now he's actually a minus 120 favorite. So he's sadly not in the favorite dog section, but you could include him. I like his chances. He's a slick striker. I think he's live to chin Bogdan. We'll talk about that in the prop section. Imavov to beat Adesanya is a very dangerous call because Imavov hasn't beaten somebody to the elite caliber of Izzy, but I think he mixes it up well because he has deceptively good boxing and he's crafty overall and he's gone to 5 rounds. I think he wants it more. Adesanya is talking about he just want to fight. He's not chasing the belt. Imavov, I am certain, is chasing becoming a champion. And if you look, opposite primes, right? Imavov, nearly 29 right now, right? Just really now hitting his peak. Adesanya, 35, been there, done that. 3 losses out of his last 4 fights. I'm saying Imavov can outwork him and win this and pull off an upset. I think Imavov's really crafty. We'll see. I think it really depends upon, though, what Adesanya has left in the tank. If he goes long or he gets finished. Imavov, dangerous skill set. Could be live for a sub. But I got to tell you, of the dogs I've given off, Vinicius Oliveira is the one that shouts my name because I really think he can outwork Said Nurmagomedov to a hard-fought decision. He's plus 132. I like Vinicius Oliveira to win. Oliveira to win by submission would be crazy at plus 2,200, but decision seems very viable around plus 3 to plus 400. I think he's going to outwork Said. Oliveira's got an awkward flow. He's very hard to read. His striking is tricky. I love him as far as all the underdogs go. I'm a believer in his skill set. Now, Said's a gangster, though, and this is a massive jump in level as far as what the opponents offer. He beat Ricky Simon, but Simon's more of like a pressure wrestler boxer. Said is a crafty kickboxer with nasty submissions. But Oliveira is a large bantamweight. He's very physically strong. He's shown a good gas tank, and he's unorthodox. That hands-low style, hard to read. And I see over the 3 rounds a hard-fought win for Vinicius, so I'm going with him to pull through. Bueno Silva. She's way too big of an underdog. Plus 220 against Jasudavicius. 2 fights ago, Bueno Silva's fighting for the strap at women's bantamweight. And now she's a massive underdog against Jasudavicius, whose biggest wins are Lipsky and who? Miranda Maverick? Bueno Silva had the back of Raquel Pennington in a title fight. She won the first round last time against Macy Chiasson. The disrespect for Bueno Silva will not be tolerated. And at a line like this, plus 220 is just way too hard for me to avoid. This catches my eye. Now, Bueno Silva, she could lose it mentally. She has mental lapses. That's why her reliability is a little bit down. But in a 3-round fight, I think she could pull through against Jasudavicius. She's used to fighting big girls. Jasudavicius used to being the bigger girl at women's fly. Bueno Silva by sub plus 500. I think she's live for a rear naked strangle. And then Bueno Silva to win decision plus 4. That rear naked choke is catching my eye. I think she could get Jasudavicius' back. I think she can garner control time. I think Bueno Silva's a really good underdog here. She's not like a super reliable fighter always, but in a matchup like this, I think there's a good chance she can win. And I really feel like the odds are stupid. This fight should be much closer. Minus 140 to plus 120. That would make sense. But minus 260 for Jasudavicius at plus 220 for Bueno Silva, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. I think Bueno Silva's winning. So Bueno Silva, part of the big 3 as far as underdogs go. I like the dog section. I'm liking Vinicius for the hard work and hustle over Said. I think Imavov's got a chance because Adesanya is, I think, past his best days. And Bueno Silva, she's just simply being overlooked. Those 3 money dogs that I'm calling as far as picks go this week. And they're included in the money underdog section here. Let's keep running. Props. Degen Props. Degen Props of the night. So let's talk here. Okay. Lucas Alexander to chin Bogdan Grad makes sense to me. I like Lucas Alexander's skills. He's underrated. He's got caught bad against Jekasaragi. Plus 295 for Alexander by KO. I think he's got a chance to clip Bogdan Grad. I don't like that he's the favorite now. He was plus 170 as an underdog earlier. Another one, Shara Bullet on the scorecards. Bro, we're in Saudi Arabia, and they're probably going long. And if it's close, he's getting the decision. I think he wins it. Decision win, Shara Bullet, plus 130. I think Shara's getting it done in the cards. Moneyline's a little wide at minus 200. Page deserves a bit more respect, I feel, because he's got a tricky striking style, but he's at middleweight, and Shara's got nasty kicks, and I think he can land hard shots and give Venom Page some trouble. I like Shara Bullet. And then McKinney, round 1. We already talked about McKinney, but I just figured I'd reiterate. Maybe he's live in round 1. The odds are not great for it, but I had to mention it because at the end of the day, if McKinney's not winning the first round, what are we doing? Round 1 for McKinney, I just want to go comparison. We got minus 140, but round 2 for McKinney, you got up at plus 350. More likely McKinney round 1. I think he blitzes Hadžović early. I like these calls as far as the props go. I think Alexander's live for that KO. I definitely could see it. I think Shara is very live for that decision. I'd be more hyped, though, to miss on the Shara decision prop and see him chin Michael Venom Page. That would be epic. That would be epic. Guys, you know what I want to do. I want to talk parlays. It's time to jump to everybody's favorite section. It's my favorite. It's your favorite. Let's jump to it. The parlays to play. And if you guys haven't yet and you're liking the content, smash that like button. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Lock in. Daily content on the channel. Keep it locked and loaded, okay? Let's talk the parlays. I figured I'm going Savage City first. Vinicius Oliveira and Mike Davis. I figured I put Savage City at the top because I wanted to see if we can get some 3-1 love. Plus 311 for Savage City. Now, for the people that aren't just screenshotting and bailing, I figured I'd put a Savage City alternate, but I just felt if you're going to screenshot and bail, you shouldn't see it. So instead, we also have Bueno, Silva, and Davis at plus 450. Bueno, Silva's a live dog. Davis the lock. I think there's possibility. If you want to go Brazilian supremacy and you also throw Oliveira in, now you got plus 12,117 for a little 3-play degeneracy at the top. But you'll only see it if you listen and not just screenshotting and bailing. I got to do it for you guys. So W in the comments if you're not screenshotting and bailing. I appreciate you. Next up, Davis and Imavov. There's a good ring to this. Both should win. Plus 129. It doesn't get me excited like the Savage City does, but it probably hits. Then we do a little alternate action. Imavov and Gaziev, I think they both take it home, minus 138. I think that's a decent alternate. I also have another alternate that I'm going to list off to you now. Sergey Pavlovich, I also think, has a good chance to win. And if you think he pulls through with Imavov, you have minus 131. Not great odds for that. Or if you're going Sergey Pavlovich, Imavov, and you want to go big boy Gaziev, you can see it right there, the 3 at the bottom. That one is nice at plus 128. I see those 3 fighters winning. Two heavyweights. I mean, one with an okay physique, the other a little mush, but they should get it done, man. Now, a little alternate early 2. Hamdi Abdelwahab, you're going to sweat. And Lucas Alexander at plus 250. That's an early 2. If you just like want to throw something down for the first 2 fights, it's going to be 9 in the morning when this fight card starts. You want to win by 9:45. Those could be a nice little early 2 at plus 250. Now, if you're looking for the big 3, though, Mike Davis, Vinicius Oliveira, and Alexander, right? I'm liking the risk factor. I'm liking some Brazilian savages on this card. You got plus 654 if you're running it with my lock, and then you're running it with dangerous Brazilian underdog, and then you're also running it with Alexander, who should have been an underdog. He was an underdog, but now he's become a favorite. I like the chances of that. Plus 654 is nice for the big 3. And then if you want to go a step further and turn it into degeneracy, plus 2,314 if you add in Bueno Silva. So if you're adding in some mix and match action, then you can really go degen mode USA up in here. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk degen. Typical degen, okay? Davis, Oliveira, Imavov, Pavlovich, and McKinney, plus 785. You're going to be sweating, though, because you need Oliveira to come through. But if you want to turn it into maybe a safer play, you go Davis, Imavov, Pavlovich, and McKinney. You take out Oliveira. If you're like, yo, I like what you're saying, but Oliveira worries me, you got love you can throw down. You can make some magic still happen. The money is not going to be as exciting. You're not going to get crazy plus, but you're going to get a win, and you're still going to get plus 269. Okay, that's not horrible. Now, if you want to go degen savage mode, Davis, Oliveira, Imavov, Pavlovich, McKinney, and Lucas Alexander. You throw him in, you got plus 1522. And again, if maybe you don't want an underdog, you don't want Oliveira, plus 576 if you remove him. And now, to really send it off with the super degen, you're going Davis, Oliveira, Imavov, Pavlovich, McKinney, Alexander, and Imavov. You're going to sweat heavy on this one. You're going to be nervous. You're going to have anxiety. Plus 3,875. And to take it one step further, not written down for the folks, but said by word of mouth, because it's a video, man. It's not just a clip. Plus 5,200 if you also add the super duper degen with Bueno Silva also to that bottom parlay. That would be chaotic degen. And if you didn't like the main event, you still get pretty good degen line. If you run it up with, some of the other savages. Let me make sure I got this. Actually, no. Plus 5,200 is if you don't run it with Oliveira, but you keep everybody else in at the bottom and then you switch it for Bueno Silva. If you also have Oliveira on that lineup, you get plus 12,620. So the plus 12,620 super Degen call is what you see at the bottom, plus Bueno Silva. If you don't like the main event, you're like, yo, I ain't sweating against Izzy, you still get plus 5,092 if you take out Imavov and you kept Bueno Silva in. Those are some savage parlays. Those are some animalistic parlays. I'm really excited for this week's parlays. I'm excited for this week's whole lineup. I think we can clean sweep this thing. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, actually. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of this week's Best MMA Bets. I'm feeling confident. You should be too. Now, let me know. What is your lock in the comments? Do you agree with my lock? Do you like Davis? Or are you one of those Ziam believers? You're a Ziam backer. You're a Ziam one. Ziam fan. I don't think so. You're not going for the French kickboxer. Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. And definitely drop some of your favorite parlays. I want to see what degeneracy you're cooking up. But I also want to see the safety lines, okay? The lock cities. What you got for them? If you got nothing to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thank you all for watching. Much love. Smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe it up. And turn the post notifications on. Put them on all, not just personalized. Daily content, daily live streams. I'm bringing the thunder every day. UFC Saudi Arabia, I'll be live for the whole card too. So Saturday is going to be damn fun. A little early action at 9 a.m. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.